Here we go. What's up, guys? Welcome to a new feature starting on the show this weekend. It's called HBR Fans on Extra Time. This is us pretty much just staying on with you guys a little bit, another 5 minutes or so after the show ends, and we talk about some hard-hitting stuff that's going on in football. This weekend, big game, Liverpool, Chelsea, and the big question is, how does anybody beat Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool? So, Yanni, let's get into it straight away. We'll start off with Zoom. Tell us, Jurgen Klopp, Bana, how do you beat him and this Liverpool side?
I love that you asked me first, because obviously my manager, Mikel Arteta, has he's deciphered the Da Vinci Code of beating Jurgen Klopp. He knows the secrets. And I think for the most part, a lot of people thought it was a bit of a daunting task. Remember, they were unbeaten for such a long time, but then came along Watford and Atletico Madrid and even Arsenal. And at some point, when apparently Liverpool weren't serious, even Man City. But I think from what I've seen, the most regular way to beat Liverpool, the most precise way to beat Liverpool would probably be just limiting Liverpool to crosses. When you limit them to crosses and you deal with them in a low block, it's very easy to just keep knocking those crosses from Trent and Andrew Robertson, just continuously, just clearing them. So I think for the most part, block out that midfield, pack as many players as you can in that midfield, and then at the same time have a back, maybe three centre backs, back three, and then just let them cross the ball, and you'll surely win the aerial duels and get something on the counter.
Nice one. Guys, by the way, this is the blueprint. Once this broadcast is done, we need to put an M-Pesa till number at the bottom, because all the coaches around the world will be using our formula to to beat Jurgen Klopp. Lotan, what you say?
Yeah. First of all, allow me to correct Zuhu. Way before our techers, we had initiated the downfall of Jurgen Klopp as Man City, and we chappered them, I think, 4-0, if I'm not wrong. We're supposed to make it 5. Yeah, here we go. Phil Foden, the best Englishman to play football, was part of that route. However, I'll keep it simple. I think the best way to beat Jurgen Klopp is to single out Virgil van Dijk. He has suddenly become the biggest liability when it comes to Jurgen Klopp. And
biggest.
I think if you target him as an individual, you then stand a chance to cause a little bit more harm. We know that he loves
the world's best defender.
He was the world's best defender. And that's just because Twitter was bought by some Liverpool people, by the way. But my thinking is, your only way you can beat Klopp is you isolate Virgil van Dijk with somebody a little bit more pacey. If Timo Werner gets a one-on-one with Van Dijk, it's done.
Okay. Eric, do you agree? You're the insider. Give us some tips, man.
I'm not going to give you tips on how to beat Liverpool. When I listen to you guys tips, I've listened, like John, you in the last 4 or 5 years, Lot in the last 2 years, Zoom in the last 3 years. You speak of the same thing, but you see how you speak, your teams don't do that. You are saying you have to isolate Van Dijk. The other one is saying the wing backs, Robertson, I think, and Trent Arnold. But I think you have to start with the opposing side, with the front three, with Mane, Salah, and Firmino. If you don't at those 3 guys, it means that you're going fast to be conceding goals, because the main guy, the key guy who brings out the best of these two is Roberto Firmino.
Oh no! Here we go again.
Listen to me. We've seen guys who have beaten Liverpool, let's say like Atletico Madrid in the Champions League. What they give so many midfielders, making sure that those guys at the back, they're not going up forward, they're not throwing those balls to the likes of Salah and Mane and Firmino. So if you can watch the game that we played at Atletico Madrid, I think you can get 1 or 2 tips on how to beat Liverpool. But for now, in the Premier League, yes, you can have the idea on how to beat Liverpool, but you do not have the capability to do that. I think it's only one team. I think it's only one team who can do that thing. It's Man City.
Oh, thank you.
What about Arsenal?
The ability. United don't have the ability. Sorry?
You lost twice to Arteta. What do you mean they don't have the ability?
The first game we were not serious, like we had won the league. The second game was
This guy, man.
That's a glorified friendly.
Okay, anyway, that's Eric removing, or rather refusing to give us proper information and holding his cards close to his chest. For me, I think it's all about how the teams behave when Liverpool are in possession and also when now the opposing team have the ball. So when Liverpool are in possession, what I noticed that Arsenal did very well is they made Lacazette play as a deeper striker. So what he's doing pretty much is getting Fabinho out of the game because he's the metronome of Liverpool. So when the 9 comes deeper, then Fabinho is usually the out ball for Van Dijk and Gomez. So Lacazette, for example, was getting Fabinho to be very uncomfortable on the ball. And then the CDM also has to be aware of the second pivot, which is Wijnaldum, which is now, for example, Torreira squeezes to sort of limit the options that Van Dijk and Gomez have when they're on the ball. What this does is forces Van Dijk to try his long balls. He's good at spinning the ball to Salah and Mane, but when Tierney and them are waiting for that ball, then you start choking Liverpool and they start making mistakes like Lawton said. Yes,
John, the way you are speaking, what you're saying is obviously true, but people have been saying that in the last couple of seasons, like the last 2 seasons, the season where to get so close to win the league and the last season. But now, these teams, when take to the pitch, they don't beat Liverpool. What happens?
I'm telling you what Arsenal did and did so well. So I'm giving you the examples. Yes,
I do not think you're in a position to explain Liverpool how to beat them using the Arsenal game.
Why can't we use the Arsenal game?
Because Liverpool had already won the league.
Can we talk about the Community Shield?
Yes.
Let's talk about the Community Shield because he's been claiming that they weren't serious for the last 6 months. But the Community Shield, I saw Mane do this, praying that Ryan Brewster doesn't miss a penalty. So that told me enough that they wanted to win that game. They were very serious about that game, Eric. But in the Community Shield, where we watched that game together in the studio, Eric, and I remember you commenting that Liverpool were very limited in terms of their ideas. They kept crossing the ball, and when you don't have a backup striker and when all your dangerous players are about less than 6 feet in terms of height, it's going to be very easy when your main attacking threat is Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson, exactly, just crossing into the box. But and the thing is, when you play a back 5 the way that Arteta has to, I don't think he wanted to, the way he has to, you have 3 centre backs, you have 2 dedicated wing backs that are now 1v1 with the fullbacks of Liverpool, and then you have the 2 central midfielders. We're crowding you guys in the midfield and forcing you out wide, exactly where we want you to cross the ball in, and then we have all our big centre backs just knocking them out of the air. It was very simple, and it was very boring to watch Liverpool. That's why you guys are now reportedly on the verge of buying Thiago Alcantara. If you guys hadn't bought Thiago Alcantara, then you should have bought a target man striker, not Divock Origi, who's a clutch player in only 1 semi-final or a final. No, not that kind of striker. We're talking about like an Olivier Giroud kind of striker. So that when
I mean,
don't you agree? Don't you agree, guys, Lawton and John, that Olivier Giroud would have been a great option off the bench if the best crossers in the league are putting the ball on his head?
I mean, Zoom has a good point. What he's asking is, you are a lot of the times Robertson and TAA are putting in crosses in the box, but it's not like Salah and Firmino are your conventional number 9s. So we need to move it on real quick. So what I'm saying is, Timo Werner against Liverpool needs to be a bit more disciplined, boring, and act more like that defensive mid role that Eric, you talk about a lot. And then when in possession, rather now when Chelsea have the ball, you have to play out from the back, but they have to do it quickly, and your centre backs have to be comfortable on the ball, because then Liverpool have that positional press that they're so good at. So if you can stop Liverpool's positional press, then I think, because they like using that to force guys to make mistakes. Yes, Luton, let's wrap it up.
Just to add on what you said, I think something we noticed in the Leeds game last weekend is that anytime you get a pacey winger to go against TAA, he doesn't move forward. So if Chelsea can some way find a way to get Timo Werner to play out on the right and restrict TAA from coming forward, I think that definitely is going to be an advantage for Chelsea. And also in light of that, if they can find a way to isolate Timo Werner 1v1, him with TAA or him and Virgil van Dijk, I think Joe Gomez is a better player because he's faster, he's more confident on the ball, he knows how to tackle, and everything. But if you can get TAA, if you can get a situation where there's TAA and Virgil van Dijk and get in between them, that's a sure goal.
That's impossible though, because if that was to ever happen, you know, Van Dijk would be running away from that situation before he's left with Timo Werner. Eric,
let me tell you.
Eric, let's finish. Why does Van Dijk run away from?
He doesn't run away. He has different option of defending. Like that's not running away. That's not running away. He wants the opponent to come. Like he's pinbuying. Like how do I go to him? How does he come to me? Listen.
Yeah.
Eric. Yeah. Finally, Chelsea. You know, you said how they can beat us, but now this team at Chelsea. Look at their backline. Did you see how they played against? I think Brighton on Monday. Alonso's being sent to be I don't know where. If you can't defend, those defenders can't defend Salah, Mane, and Firmino. They don't have a goalkeeper. They will score 3, will score 4.
Okay. Chelsea were lucky. Chelsea were lucky to get a result. Chelsea were lucky to get a result. Liverpool will own them.
It was 3-1, boss. How are they lucky to get a result?
One was an own goal. One was an own goal. Yeah, and Chelsea played like the away team. They played like a mid-table team. Graham Potter's side was the much better side. They played all the football that night.
Okay, guys, so that's Fans on Extra Time. We're going to be picking one topic every Saturday after the show to just sort of dive deeper into as we prepare for the big matches. Drop us some comments below, and you can let us know any topics you'd like us to speak about, and we line up for the next HBR Fans on Extra Time. So until next Saturday, you guys enjoy the weekend. Lotan, Zoom, Eric, catch you in the studio next weekend.
Nice.
Take care, man.